All right. Hello. We are live, and I am here tonight on Real Life with T Live, and I have a special guest today, Lynn Lee with Sparkling Life Journeys with us, and I'm so excited to have her on tonight and talk about travel and so on. I'm going to introduce her in just a second, but I have a couple of little housekeeping items to go over with you, so that we can all see your comments and have a good dialogue back and forth, because that's what we want to have happen tonight, is a great dialogue with you. So if you see, if you're on live with us, and I'll go over this a few times throughout as people join. So if you're on live with us, and you'll see something that says on, please allow StreamYard to show your comments, basically something like that. I'm not sure exactly what the wording is, but if you see that, go ahead and click on it. It will not like ask for your first child or anything like that. It will just allow us to see your comments, because we are going live in a couple different places tonight. We're on YouTube, we're on my Facebook group, the Tina Schwan community, and then we're also on my Facebook page. So I see a couple of eyeballs up above. So if you're here live, go ahead and drop a note in the comments and tell us where you're coming in from, what town you're in, what city you're in, and we'll have a little discussion here as we go. And again, you'll have to have it so StreamYard can see your comments. Okay. So if we've not met before, my name is Tina Schwan. I'm a personal stylist. And as a personal stylist, I help timeless women reinvent their style so that they can feel more beautiful and modern without breaking the bank and without being overly trendy. So welcome to our Real Life with T Live tonight. And again, I'm here with Lynn Lee. Lynn Lee, I just met, maybe a month ago or 6 weeks ago, as part of a course that we are both in. Hi, Andy. Welcome, welcome. Andy's a friend of mine all the way from elementary school, Lynn. And he lives in Florida too. So, but anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. Anyway, we're in a course together, and we are learning about public speaking and going live on Facebook and all that sort of thing. And we're all meeting each other and learning about what each other does. And we're all sort of experts in our field. And Lynn is our expert. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I went to Bethany. That's our inside joke, Lynn. Anyway, Lynn is an expert in travel. She's traveled all over the world, and she had a corporate gig a while back and was a trainer, and she has all kinds of great skills in training people and speaking with people and helping people learn. And then, what was it, 2008 that you started in the travel industry, and she's been all over the world. She specializes in health and wellness travel and food and wine tours, but she knows all about all the things that have to do with travel, and I know very little. So we're going to have a great conversation tonight. And if you have questions, if you're on and you have questions, please feel free to drop a comment in the comments with a question or a comment about what we're talking about. That would be awesome, and we will respond to you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let Lynn take the lead and talk to us a little bit about what she does and what she knows. So welcome, Lynn. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here. And thank you, all viewers and members, for being here or watching the recording.
Yes.
I really appreciate your interest. And so I actually would... I'm not going to do a presentation. Tina and I talked about just in having a conversation around travel themes. And so we want you to participate also. We're very interested in seeing your comments and your reactions, your questions, whatever. And so I would like to start with a couple of questions for you. I would like to know, and this is and I don't know, I think if you're playing the recording, the playback, I think you can still leave comments, right,
Yes,
Tina?
yes,
Okay.
yes. You can
So,
comment
we'll
wherever
go back
they
and
are.
look at it. Yeah. So I'd like to know, if you could take a vacation anywhere in the world, and price wasn't an issue, where would your ideal vacation destination be? I'm kind of
Ooh.
curious about that. Where would you be, or how would you be traveling? You could say that instead of where you'd be. Instead of a destination, you could say you'd be on a cruise, or on a spacecraft.
Oh, wow.
I don't do spacecrafts, but I'm just kind of interested to know what your idea of an ideal vacation would be. And so that's one question. I'd love to know, of the people who are here or will be watching.
Great. Well, we don't have a lot
what
of people on that I can see right now, so I'm going to answer.
Yeah.
And you and I can talk about it. But again, if you guys are watching the replay, which a lot of people will be, because that's just the way these things go, please do comment in the comments below, and we will answer those comments as we see them within the next few days or whatever time frame it is. But I have not done a lot of travel, Lynn. I have 6 children, and so the travel that we've been involved in has been going to softball tournaments and tennis tournaments and more softball tournaments, and then now that they're grown, to go visit our kids. So it's not been a lot of travel. We did do one cruise when we got married, and that was fun. And we've been to Punta Cana a couple last year. Actually, we went to an all-inclusive. But I dream of going to Europe for like a month. That would be my dream, just to go to Europe and bounce around, and especially Italy, especially Greece. But I also would love to see the British Isles, Scotland, Ireland, see some London shows. I mean, just the whole 9 yards. I've never been.
So you want a big month-long vacation going to all of those places.
If I'm going to dream, I'm going to dream big.
Yeah. I know. I have a friend right now who is, she's been gone for a couple of months, and she's going all over Europe. She's going from one tour to the next, just back-to-back tours. She came into little money when her dad died, and she's spending it. She's just going from, like, she's been on like 3 or 4 back-to-back tours.
Wow.
And she said it's a little bit long and a little overwhelming, but she's having a great time. So
that's
and
awesome.
You've been glamping, you said. So yeah, I like glamping too.
We went glamping in I was telling Lynn this, you guys, earlier. I was telling her we were in Palo Duro Canyon, and I do think I found a place on Earth that she doesn't know about. So she's probably going to go look it up after this. But it's in West Texas, up in the panhandle of Texas, and it's this beautiful canyon. And yes, we went down to visit my daughter, who was working on an Air Force base in Clovis, New Mexico, as a dietitian. But we went and visited her husband, and she and our other 2 daughters went with us, and we went glamping in the canyon, and it was pretty cool. But there were a lot of tarantulas. That was the downside. When we were hiking and all of that, there were, especially at night when the sun went down, the tarantulas came out, and there were like a lot of them. So, but it was fun to go glamping. That's my kind of thing. My husband still likes to go camping in a tent and go fishing. That's his thing. And we've been married 15 years, and I still have never gone camping.
Well, so I just want to clarify something. I have not been all over the world. I have not yet been to Africa, and I have not yet been to Asia. And that's one of the destinations. I want to go to both of those places. I would love to go safari. I'd love to do a gorilla tour, and I'd love to go to Bali and Indonesia and places like that, and so do some wellness retreats, that kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, so the thing is that and if you'd let us know what your favorite vacation has been so far, where were you, and who were you with, and what made it so special? We'd love to hear about that too. So let me just say about me, I consider myself a vacation evangelist. It's one of my missions to get everybody to take at least one vacation every year. And in this country, we're so bad at that. And the rest of the world sort of knows that, if you're from the US, you just work all the time. Work. And in fact, I just on the radio yesterday, I think I heard a statistic, I can't remember where it's from, that 67 or 68% of workers in the US don't plan to take a vacation this year because they're concerned about the economy, they're concerned about their jobs, they're concerned, that they'll be replaceable. They want to be there for their boss and all of that stuff. But that's a real pattern that we have. We just work and we don't take enough time for ourselves. And over in Europe, vacations are very precious to Europeans. And I'm not sure about Canadians. I think they take a lot of vacation too. Because I meet a lot of Canadians who leave for 6 months and then go back home.
Yeah.
But so they're more like snowbirds rather than vacationers. But anyway, so vacations in Europe are very precious, and most countries allow people to take weeks of vacation, not just 2 weeks, but maybe a whole month or longer.
Right.
Yeah. And so anyway, so I would really like to promote annual vacations at a minimum. And in fact, there's scientific evidence to show that vacations not only make us happy, but they also help us live healthier, longer lives. That people who take more vacations live longer and are healthier. In general, people who take fewer vacations tend to develop serious illnesses and sometimes premature death. So it's really important. Vacations are really important. And we need to get away from our routines and our responsibilities and our obligations. We need to de-stress and release that pressure valve. Because our lives are so stressful. I mean, there's always so much going on. We're pushing. We're using, it seems like every hour in the day to get something done and take care of other people. And we need to take care of ourselves. And that's particularly true of women. We tend to make sure everybody else is taken care of, and we're sort of last on the list.
Right. Yeah.
So, and so I'm also an advocate for meaningful travel experiences, not just vacations, but travel. Travel helps us in so many ways. And I believe that not only vacations are, well, I'll go back to vacations for a minute, whether it includes travel or not. But I really believe that vacations are so important. They're essential to our well-being, to our physical, mental, spiritual, and
emotional.
Wait a minute.
Emotional.
Thank you. there's another physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, and vacations are as important as anything else we do for our health, nutrition and healthy eating, movement and exercise, meditation and spiritual practice, social engagement, and nurturing our relationships. And travel can help with all of those things. And travel just generates these emotions that light us up, and leads us to make lifelong memories and makes us more interesting people, because we turns us into storytellers. We get back on vacation and we have, we just have lots of stories to tell our friends or compare with. So,
Yeah.
and travel also. It's traveling to new, and doing staycations is fine, and family visits are really important. But when we travel to new destinations and cultures, it expands our horizons, it broadens our perspective, and really changes us in ways that we may not even be aware of right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's true too of, sorry to interrupt, but
no, go
we
ahead.
as Americans, I do feel like we're very US centric in many ways. And I agree with you. I think even going to a different state is a whole new awakening sometimes. If you're like me, I've lived in Nebraska my entire life. And so when I've been able to travel, and it hasn't always been possible because of things that have happened in my life, but like when we went to Alaska a few years ago, and it was just, and we didn't have a big agenda on our trip because we had a niece and nephew who were living there at the time. So we just went there and they were kind of our home base, but then we tootled around and did our own thing. And it was so fun though, because we could do that and see what life was like just kind of
Right.
immerse ourselves in the life there. And it was really cool, and I think some of those experiences are the best experiences, is to
Right.
go somewhere
Yeah,
and just immerse yourself.
especially someplace so different as Alaska, where they live entirely differently. There aren't a lot of roads, so their transportation is by plane or by boat or by um, snowmobile or
Yeah,
by, or by dog sled.
right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so they have really long days, and practically
Hmm.
24 hours of sun in the summer and
Yeah.
practically 24 hours of dark in the winter. Is very different way to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We
and
were there in
and
the
oh,
summer. Yeah. And it
and
was
so
interesting. They were doing
yes,
they were doing all the road work in the summer because they had all the light. It was like, oh my gosh, there's road work everywhere. Well, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and they're working on the roads because it was like broad daylight. It was
yeah,
very eye
yeah,
opening. But yeah, I agree with that. It just does broaden your mind, even though you don't realize
right.
it at the time. Yeah.
And not only does it changes your perspective about, I think, the world and about the way other people live, but it also makes you think about your own values and your own beliefs and your own attitudes, and
Mhm.
that's part of the way that travel can change us, when we kind of think, oh, well, I never thought about that. I never thought, about doing it that way, or that makes a whole lot of sense, kind of thing. It's
Yes.
really interesting. And I specialize in culinary and wellness travel experiences. And for me, I mean, I believe that food is the cuisine is a real essential part of a culture,
Yes.
of a place. And so you can go to a new place and just um, and really explore the cuisine
Hmm.
that they have developed based on what grows there, and how they prepare things. And um, so I just find um, food. I mean,
Yeah.
I love food. I love to eat, and I love to cook, and I love to take cooking lessons too. And that's one of the things when we talk about travel trends. Um, Food tourism has become really popular in the last 10 years or so.
Hmm.
People love to travel to eat and to learn how to cook, and
Yeah.
do all of that. So it's
Yeah.
it's great. Um,
You
so
you have on your website. I was out. I'm going to give you a shameless plug. And people, if you're watching later on, which probably most people are, and if you're on right now, I do see a couple eyeballs up in the corner. So if you're on right now, if you would please comment so we know that you're here. And you do have to let StreamYard, allow StreamYard to see your comments. So you'll see a little prompt for that if you just signed on. But what I was going to ask you, because you have a few tours that I saw, I was just creeping on you a little bit on your website. Tell us a little bit about, what you have coming up. What are some things that you have going on there?
Well, right now I don't have any scheduled tours on my website. I did,
Okay.
but they've passed. And so what I have on my website right now they're kind of itineraries that are available as private tours. So if a group of people, at least 4 or 6 or 10 to 12 people want to get together and travel together using this itinerary, this trip, I can have that customized and scheduled.
Oh, okay.
And I would love to actually get a group together to go on a food and wine tour in California, Sonoma County, specifically. Yeah, I love Sonoma County. I've been there a bunch of times, but it's been a while. And Sonoma, if you're not, California had, I'm not sure how many, there are probably more now, but some years ago had about 17 different wine regions, and now they might have more than that. And so Sonoma is in the northern part of California, north of San Francisco, and it's on the coast. It goes from the coast over to the mountains where Napa Valley starts. So It butts up against Napa Valley and Napa County. And so you can go easily from one to the other. But Napa has become it's sort of the premium wine destination in California. It's got the premium prices and the premium experiences. And so, and it's also more compact. It's in a more compact area. Sonoma is spread out, and it's really big, and it has a number of wine regions within it. AVAs. And each of those regions is notable for different kinds of wine based on their little microclimate. So there's the Russian Valley, and there's the Sonoma Coast, and there's the Sonoma Valley, and there's Alexander Valley, and all these different places. And you can go travel around Sonoma County and get different wines. And it's much more a laid back place. Rather than Napa, which has become much more kind of sophisticated and expensive, very expensive. So if you go to Napa, you can expect to pay premium prices for wine and for wine tasting. But Sonoma is much more relaxed.
Interesting.
And, yeah. And those are only 2 of the wine regions in California. But in any case, I digress. I don't know what got
So that is one of my bucket list items. We have so many that we talk about, and I'm just waiting for my husband to retire so we can do these things. But that is definitely one that I've always wanted to do. But I know, that's why we need you, Lynn, because you have such great knowledge about all of that. So,
no, thank you. Yes, I would love to help you when you're ready to do that. So let's talk about some trends, travel trends. Yes. I don't know how long you wanted to continue this.
I'm fine.
8:23 now. I don't know if you have a deadline or a time.
No, not necessarily.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk about post-pandemic trends, because travel has changed since the pandemic is continuing to change. And as you can imagine, and it wasn't that long ago, it was only 3 years ago when the world shut down.
Right.
Countries closed their borders. You couldn't get in, you couldn't get out. The airlines shut down. The whole travel industry shut down, and you couldn't go anywhere, and you had to stay home.
Right.
And with a mask when you went out. And so you couldn't, and so many people had to give up or lost their celebrations, the trips that they had planned to take, and their big milestone celebrations, weddings and graduations, and all kinds of things. And in that year and a half, whatever it was before things started loosening up a little bit, people started not only getting cabin fever, but also became introspective and realized we learned a lot of lessons there about our priorities and about what's important to us and about what's valuable to us and what we would do as soon as the world opened back up again. And as soon as things loosened up, people started booking travel like never before. And not only just any trips, they were taking their bucket list trips. Because we all knew that the future was not promised to us. Tomorrow was not promised. And so those someday trips became now trips. And so people started booking very extravagant trips right away. And in 2021, the travel industry started ramping back up again. I mean, it took them a while because, the airlines had laid off all these people. Everybody laid off people, couldn't get them back fast enough. They sold planes, they, closed down hotels. A lot of places went out of business. And so people were just dying to travel. I shouldn't say dying. They were just, they just couldn't wait to travel. But it wasn't easy. And last year, though, the travel industry just bounced back with a vengeance. And in fact, some people were calling it, vengeance travel. But travel suppliers were just absolutely amazed. And anybody in the travel industry was so amazed at how much the travel business just took off, and people were making bookings bookings were coming in like never historical, never before. And then that's continued last year and this year. And so right now, so the domestic picture is a little different from the international picture. Domestically, a lot of people are still staying closer to home and doing more. I mean, that first year, people were doing a lot of camping and RV trips. National parks are just really booked and way in advance. And that's still the case. People are just going, crazy going to national parks. And, beaches and all of that, and mountains. But internationally, right now, Europe is just overflowing with people. Europe is so crowded that even in May, before summer started, Europe was overcrowded. And so hotels were selling out, and tours were selling out, and it was hard to get reservations anywhere, even at restaurants. And so, everything was selling out. So my colleagues and I were finding that we couldn't make the reservations that people wanted because they weren't available. And you see pictures and videos, you've probably seen them in the news, of places like Rome and the really, popular cities like Rome and Paris and Barcelona, just flooded with people, crowds and crowds of people. And airfares are, I don't know if they're at peak, but they have been so high that like last year, a flight to Italy might have cost $900 or $1,000, and this year it's more like $1,500, $2,000.
Wow.
So airfares have been just crazy. I hear that they're starting to come down a little bit, but maybe for the fall. So there aren't a lot. Well, there still are things that are available for the fall and winter, but a lot of river cruises, for example, a lot of them have filled up. And Christmas market cruises, if you've heard about Christmas markets in Europe, they're very popular. You can do a Christmas market tour or a river cruise to like down the Danube or the Rhine River. and stop in all these little towns and cities along the way and go to these Christmas markets that have been going on for centuries.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. So Europe is kind of going crazy right now. And so if you were thinking of going to Europe this summer, you'll have to find a place where there are like fewer crowds. The towns, the little towns that nobody's going to because they don't know about them.
Yeah. Go off the beaten path, right? A little bit.
Yeah. So
interesting. I think that's interesting too, because I just feel like there's been so many repercussions that COVID has just affected every aspect of life. And we're still, I mean, that domino effect and is just going to keep going because, I'm in a networking group locally, and the realtors, like last year's real estate was nuts. I mean, we changed homes, and from what I'm hearing from you, then travel sort of had the same kind of thing. I just feel like every industry has been impacted one way or another with what we all experienced from COVID, and people are like we were. The reason we downsized was because of that. It was like, well, what are we doing? Why are we spending all our money on a home when we can downsize, have a smaller house payment, and then yes, we can travel, right? And maybe he can retire earlier and those kind of things. So, I feel like we all really, you're right. We learned a lot from being sort of locked down literally and not able to have the freedoms that we're used to having. And now it's like, okay, we're free. Let's do it. Yeah.
Another thing that has another trend that has become more accelerated since COVID. It was beginning. So a lot of these were starting before then and just accelerated since then, is that millennials and Gen Z as generations are really leading the way and shaping the nature of travel. And the nature of travel is changing because people, it used to be a few years ago before COVID, we were talking about experiential travel. People didn't want to just go to, sort of like the standard tourist cities and get the standard tours that have been going on for years and years, but they wanted to have experiences, authentic, meaningful experiences. So and now we're talking about, and that's still true, but now we're talking about purposeful travel. When people want to go travel, they want to go with a purpose. They might want to learn a new skill or learn, but some people want to go and learn how to make perfume in France, or they want to learn how to cook Italian cuisine, or lots of different trades that have been going on in different countries, and they want to go learn about them or even learn how to do them. And so it's travel with a purpose, not just travel for travel's sake, and transformative travel. People really want to feel transformed by these experiences. They want to feel like there was some, not only a reason for going, a purpose for going, but they actually grew and changed, and something was transformed in their life because of it. They want to have new experiences and get to know, discover new and different cultures and people and that kind of thing. And something that started in Italy years ago is called slow travel. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
That was sort of a reaction. Well, it sort of came out of the Italian, attitude and lifestyle about, just slowing down and enjoying life, enjoying the quality of life. And so in Italy and in other places in Europe, people will go dine together for hours, or they'll go out to a restaurant, and you don't get shuffled around from table to table. You go and you get your table. You probably have to have a reservation, at least now. And then you can stay there for the rest of the night, and just enjoy the food and the drink and the company, and people, the servers, the staff won't bother you.
Interesting.
And it's all about savoring life and
Yeah.
savoring, food. So slow travel is kind of like a way to like slow down instead of jumping from place to place to place every night and packing up and unpacking and repacking and getting on the bus and going to the next place. Go to someplace and stay for a week or a couple of weeks, or go, if you want to go to multiple places, stay for a few nights, stay at least 3 nights, and then do day trips, and then have some time on your own to go shopping or to go to a thermal spring, or some place to relax, get a spa treatment or whatever. So really slowing down and enjoying life, and so it's more of in-depth travel and a lot more focus on quality time, not quantity. And so sustainable travel also. I think we lost you. At least Tina disappeared from my screen. I don't know if anybody else can see her, or Tina, I'm sure you'll come back, but I'll just keep talking since the live is continuing and we haven't been shut down yet. I'll just keep talking, and I hope you come back. Sustainable travel is very, here she comes back.
I'm back. I lost it. Technology. It's great.
I know. But hey, we've become so dependent on this. We now rely on this technology,
Right, we do. Yeah, we do.
For our lives and for our work and all of that stuff. What would we do if we didn't have it? It's like, what did we do before?
We would never have met. Lynn.
I know.
Well, Lynn, I could talk to you all night. Literally, it's so fascinating to me, all of the different trends and the different ways that travel really does affect us as humans, and how important it is for our lives. It's just it's been very eye-opening to me, and I love whenever you talk about something, I think about someone in my head that, oh yeah, I now that makes sense to me because someone I know and love did this or they did that, and it just really is something that I think we can all relate to. And that's why it's so interesting. So we should probably wrap up because I've taken way too much of your time. But tell us a little bit about, you have a couple of downloads on your website. And folks, I will put Lynn's website, Sparkling Life Journeys, in the descriptions below and in the comments below, so that you can click out there and see what she has. But I know she has a few different downloads for you. So you want to talk just a little bit about what those are and what people can get. Okay.
Yep. I have a couple of little gifts. One is like a mini travel guide that's called, and I always forget the title because it's so long, 5 heart-touching, soul-stirring, palate-pleasing travel experiences that will meet your high standards. It's like, these are the kinds of trips that I like to put together. And so it'd give you some maybe inspiration, some ideas for a trip that you might want to take in the future.
Awesome.
Also, one of my specializations is river cruising. I love river cruising, and it's become really big in the last few years. And more cruise lines are starting up and building more and more river ships. And I'd love to come back another time and talk about river cruising.
That'd be awesome.
On my website, near the top of the website, there is a river cruise guide that you can download. It's 48 pages. It's the real tome.
Oh, wow.
And it talks not only about what you can expect on a river cruise, but also talks about the Danube River itinerary, which I've done a couple of times.
Nice.
And and then I'd also like to offer anybody who would like to talk more about travel with me, a complimentary, no obligation 30-minute call to help you clarify your vision or your ideas about your next vacation or your next trip, what you might want to do, maybe some options. I'd love to talk about that. So that I will give you my my scheduling link. So anybody who wants to book a call with me, use that link. And I think it's on my website. Yeah, there's a button on my website that says schedule
there is.
a call.
I was, like I said, I was creeping around out there. So it's out there. So yes, I will put your website information wherever I can. And so people like, as you can hear, Lynn has passion for her job, her travel. I mean, she's like, I love what you said. You were an evangelist, a travel evangelist. I love that. That's so awesome. So Lynn, thank you so very much for being with us tonight. And I hope some people watch this and got some information and some really cool, inspiration as well, to maybe book that next trip or dream about it at the very least. And by the way, next week, you guys here, I'm actually going to be going live on Lynn's group and talking about travel wardrobe and capsule, how to create a travel wardrobe capsule, and then how to pack efficiently. So I'll be doing that here on our live next week as well. So stay tuned for that and come back and check that out as well. So
thank you. Put a 70 wardrobe into a carry-on. I want to know how to do that.
Yep. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So, there's Kim. Hi, Kim.
Yeah, and I'm very interested in reading everybody's comments. And if you have any questions for me, please put them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. And this is all about, not only love traveling, but I love to send other people on trips. So it's about you. I would love to get you going on a trip.
Well, I'm going to be contacting you. My gosh. I got to go talk to the man upstairs. Not that man upstairs, that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, hun. Thank you so much again for being here. Thanks, everybody. And God bless y'all.
Tina. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to leave. Oh, here it is.